Hello everyone, welcome back. We're back here and we're going to be doing another educational video like always. And we're going to do it on whale sharks today. And whale sharks, if you watch my debut, are one of my favorite organisms ever. So this was pretty easy for me to come and learn more about them and everything like that. And it's just going to be great. So let's move on. So some of you might be no, kind of wondering, why is it that they are called whale sharks? So, whale sharks are fish and not whales, and are actually the largest fish. And the whale part of the name comes from just the fact that they are as large as a whale. And then also, they feed like baleen whales, which they filter feed. They are also a type of shark because sharks are a type of fish. So, shark kind of fits the name. And as such, they do not have bones, rather, they have a skeleton made of cartilage. So, whale sharks also use gills to get oxygen, whereas whales breathe air from the surface. So, there's a little bit behind the name kind of thing there. Then we have the anatomy of the whale sharks here. And description, I guess. So, they have a broad, flattened head with a large mouth, and then they have two small eyes located on the front corners. And whale sharks' mouths are located at the front of the head rather than on the underside of the head. And their mouths contain over 300 rows of tiny teeth and 20 filter pads. And here in the bottom left-hand corner, I have a picture of their teeth here. And kind of like you could say, there's tons of little teeth. Tons of them. And also, whale sharks have 5 large pairs of gills here, or 5 gill slits, which we'll kind of look at those again later, but this is a better picture of them. And then in the bottom right here, right next to me, you could see the eyes in the corners of the mouth. And yeah. Alright. Anatomy continued. So, the skin of a whale shark is dark gray. It has a white underbelly, marked with an arrangement of pale gray and white spots and stripes that are unique to every individual. So if you've seen a whale shark, you know about all the markings and stuff they have on the top, the white spots, their stripes and whatnot. And like I said, it's unique to every individual. So if you were to memorize some of the patterns or whatever, you could tell a whale shark apart pretty easily. And their skin can be up to 15 centimeters or 5.9 inches thick. And it is very hard and rough to the touch, which is kind of sad because I always imagine touching a whale shark being kind of nice. I don't know, but rough, eh. Okay, so here we're going to go over this diagram here. So they have the ridges, the lines on the side, the lateral ridges. And they usually have about 3 of those, and they go down the whole length, or basically the whole length of the body. They also have 2 dorsal fins, the fins on the very top of their body, the first and second dorsal fin. Then they have pectoral fins, which are the ones on their side. You can think of them kind of like their arms or whatnot. They have a pair of pelvic fins, right basically underneath the first dorsal fin. If you go directly underneath on their underbelly, you'll find the pelvic fins. And then they have a single medial anal fin that is right kind of underneath the second dorsal fin on the underbelly. And then, of course, they have their big fin, their big fin on the back is their caudal fin, which actually puts off most of the pushing force to make them go around. And you can see the 5 gill slits here on the thing too. Got their mouth, eyes. And then they have a lateral line that runs up their caudal fin and also with the lateral ridges. So yeah. Now, whale sharks, as we went over in the beginning, are the size of whales. So their size is extremely big. So I have a picture here of a whale shark over a normal yellow bus, school bus that you think of, and they're pretty much the size of a school bus. And females can grow larger than males usually, or at least they grow faster. And that is a type of sexual dimorphism where different sexes have different characteristics or sizes or whatnot. Over a 10-year period, they looked at some whale sharks, and the males on average reached 8 to 9 meters within the 10-year period, which is 26 to 30 feet in length, whereas the females would reach 14.5 meters, which is about 48 feet on average. So there's quite a big difference in size. Sexual maturity occurs around the 8 to 9 meter mark on there, which, like we said, is about the average for a male in 10 years, 26 to 30 feet, with females possibly maturing at a similar size or larger. Several whale sharks around 18 meters to 59 feet in length have been reported. So those are extremely long, but are kind of like the larger edge of the size category, since we don't see them as often. Whale sharks' habitat. So whale sharks inhabit all tropical and warm temperate seas in the world, and can be found both coastal and oceanic habitats, because some of the seasonal areas where they feed at are coastal, and they do go into just the oceanic habitats at other times. The deepest recorded dive was about 1,928 meters, which is about 6,325 feet, making whale sharks the deepest diving fish to be recorded. And if you watched my ocean videos before that, we have our ocean depth thing here. And let's see here. So 6,000 feet is inside the midnight zone, or the bathypelagic zone. So that is deeper than sperm whales on this mark here, if this is to be believed. Not quite as far as the Titanic, but still. So, some of their seasonal feeding aggregations. So, we have a lot of different places here where they find whale sharks pretty often. We'll go over, I'll name a few of them, okay? I'll name the ones I can especially say. So, we have the Persian Gulf, we have the Darwin Islands and the Galapagos. We have the Mafia Island of Tanzania. We have the Philippines, which I've heard quite a few are in the Philippines. We have Taiwan. We have southern China and Qatar. And then there's other ones here that I don't think I'd be able to say or pronounce correctly. And we have a picture here. This is from the Yucatan coast over in Mexico. I think this is the 2009. I think this is from 2009. But in 2011, more than 400 whale sharks gathered off the Yucatan coast, and it was one of the largest gatherings of whale sharks ever recorded. Yeah, this I don't think is from the 2011. I could not find a date on it, but this does show quite a few whale sharks from an aerial view. So, the diet of a whale shark. So, as we said before, they feed like whales, the baleen whales, as filter feeders. So, they filter feed plankton, copepods, krill, fish eggs, the occasional Christmas Island red crab larvae, then small nectonic life. So just small little swimming things. Also, they sometimes eat small fish or squids. And feeding occurs either by ram filtration, so they open their mouth and they just swim, and they just collect stuff in their mouth, or does active suction feeding, where it opens and closes its mouth, sucking in large volumes of water, and then they are expelled through the gills. The filter pads inside their mouth, as we talked about before, serve to separate the food from the water. So the food would go back into its throat the water would go out through its gills, and the filter pads are presumed to be modified grill rakers to clean off the gills. So, and diet continued. We have the food separation in a whale shark is by cross-flow filtration. So the water will travel nearly parallel to the filter pads and not perpendicularly through it. So the water and food are not going through the filter. They're not being filtered. The filter pads just separate the water from the food. And like I said, the water would go through the gills. Food goes back to the throat. It does not go through the filter pads. It goes over the filter pads. So, kind of hard to get in my mind, but I understand. Their throats are about the size of a quarter, and though others say it can be as large as a human fist, so you have no worries about getting swallowed by a whale shark, because you would not be able to go through their throat. But their mouth is about 1.55 meters, or about 5.1 feet across. So I guess they technically could, like, kind of get you in their mouth, but they would not be able to swallow you. So you don't have to worry about that. Plus, they are very docile, and they probably would not want to anyways. And here I have a picture of the suction filtration. The one before this one here looks like ram filtration, okay, the one on the top. But this one right here is definitely suction. So, both forms of feeding. So, growth and reproduction. So, they tell the growth of a whale shark by the growth bands on their vertebrae, and these are formed annually. And I have a picture here where you can see the growth bands on there. Think of it kind of like a tree, okay? Whenever you cut down a tree, you can look at its growth rings, and you can tell how old it is by how many different growth bands there are. So this is basically the same as whale sharks. And I think they can tell... I think they could tell that the age of it, they could tell it's annually because of some radioactive stuff they found inside the vertebrae that got put in there from some like nuclear tests or somewhat whatnot. So they could tell, oh, this is from this point because this was set off at this point. So it's been this many years. Whale sharks in the wild have estimated their lifespan to be around 80 years to 130 years. That is insane. And evidence suggests that males grow faster than females in the earlier stages of life, males ultimately reaching smaller maximum size. So that's the sexual dimorphism we were talking about, where females get bigger. They exhibit late sexual maturity, and their estimated age of maturity in males is about 25 years. So, continued. In July of 1996, they found a pregnant female whale shark with 300 pups, indicating that whale sharks are ovoviviparous. So, the eggs will remain in the body. They will not be laid. They'll just stay in the body, and then the female gives birth to live young. And it was... They had trouble figuring out how whale sharks reproduced. Because they found like egg casings and stuff like that were possibly failed eggs or whatnot, and they thought that whale sharks laid eggs because of that. But then they ended up finding the pregnant female, and they figured out that, oh, nope, they give birth to live young. The young are about 40 to 60 centimeters long, which is 16 to 24 inches long. And I have a picture here showing the size. So we have a 15 meter, a very large adult here at the top. And then it goes down to a large adult, which is 12.1 meters. Down to a mature adult, which is around 9 meters. Down to a juvenile, 5.26 meters. And then the pup, which is, like we said, about 16 to 24 inches long, or I guess 0.55 meters, around that much. And you can see that even a juvenile whale shark is larger than a regular, like, human scuba diver there that we have in the corner. But they are bigger than pups, so... pups are not born all at once. So it's not like they breed and then they have like however many pups. Um, Rather, female whale sharks will retain the sperm from one mating, and then they will produce more pups over a prolonged period of time. So they might have, I don't know, like a couple 20 pups or something like that at a time or whatnot. That's not like an actual number, but like it just doesn't mean they have like a huge number of pups at the same time. So, which this, I guess in 1996 they did have 300 pups in one. So I don't know exactly how many they have at one time, but 300 pups, since they retain sperm, they could have a ton more than that. So, now we have a range map of the whale sharks. So, the range map here, as you can see, they have the natural migratory route that is, like we said, right here in the temperate oceans and whatnot. And then we have these smaller areas near the coast where our concentrated populations of like feeding and stuff like that seasonally. You can see some off the Yucatan Peninsula there in the off of Mexico. Basically, most coastal areas there have at least one. You have some Philippines, Australia, between Madagascar and South America, right off the coast of India, Africa, South America. Yeah, just different sites like that. You can look at that if you want to. Also some off Japan, it looks like. But yeah. So there are two distinct subpopulations of whale sharks. So there's the Atlantic subpopulation, and then there's the Indo-Pacific subpopulation, which are just different sides of the oceans, basically. So the Atlantic subpopulation are between Maine and South Africa. So basically that area there is one population, the Atlantic population. And then there's the Indo-Pacific population, which holds so many more whale sharks. 75% of the entire whale shark population is just in the Indo-Pacific subpopulation. So these roam between 30 degrees north and 35 degrees south, where water temperatures are higher than 21 degrees Celsius, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But they have been spotted as far north as the Bay of Fundy, Canada, the Sea of Okhotsk, north of Japan, and then far south is Victoria, Australia. So there's quite a few different places where whale sharks could be. Basically, anywhere there's warm water, whale sharks could be there. So whale sharks have a good relationship with humans most of the time. Whale sharks do not pose any danger to humans at all. They are a docile fish and sometimes allow swimmers to catch rides, even though you're not supposed to touch them. Which is very sad because I would love to, touch a whale shark. That'd be beautiful. But then I have a picture here of a snorkeler, I guess a free diver, here swimming above a whale shark. The conservation status of whale sharks. So currently there is no estimate of the global whale shark population, but it is considered endangered by the IUCN due to the impacts of fisheries and catching them in fishing nets and whatnot, vessel strikes, and then combined with their long lifespan and then late maturation. It takes a while for one to get of breeding age and whatnot. So, yeah. In 1998, the Philippines banned all fishing, selling, importing, and exporting of whale sharks for commercial purposes, followed by India and Taiwan. So the Philippines, India, and Taiwan have banned all things of whale sharks. Then hundreds of whale sharks are illegally killed every year in China for their fins, skins, and oil. So, in captivity, there are a few aquariums that have whale sharks inside. So, I'm going to look at two of them, two of the most well-known, I guess. The first one being the Georgia Aquarium, which I have been to a couple times. the Georgia Aquarium has a 6.3 million U.S. gallons, which is 24,000 meters cubed. Yes, whale shark exhibit. Huge tank. And I think they have like 4 whale sharks in it, 3 to 4, something like that. And Georgia's whale sharks were all imported from Taiwan and were taken from the commercial fishing quota for the species. So, in Taiwan, they caught some whale sharks, and Georgia Aquarium bought them off them. It is a beautiful aquarium, Georgia Aquarium is. It's by far my favorite aquarium to go to. Then we have the Okinawa Chuarmi? I don't know, aquarium. The Okinawa Aquarium. It is quite a bit smaller than the Georgia Aquarium. It has 291,000 U.S. gallons, and that is 7,500 meters cubed whale shark exhibit. I don't know how many whale sharks they have at it, but still pretty cool. If you are in an aquarium that has a whale shark, you instantly get bumped up to very high numbers, in my opinion. So, Okinawa's aquarium had the first attempt at keeping a whale shark in an aquarium, and that was initiated in the 1980s. And the record for the whale sharks in captivity is more than 26 years, which is also from the Okinawa Aquarium. And I have a smaller picture of it here because I had to try to fit it in, and there we go. And since Georgia Aquarium's bigger, I gave it a bigger picture. But yeah. I don't know for sure how many aquariums have whale sharks in it, but these are the 2 most well known. And that's all I have for slides. Now, if you guys saw my 100 subscriber video, you'll know that at some point this year, I will be going to an aquarium to swim with whale sharks, scuba diving with them. So this was just to get me ready for this. I wanted to learn more about the whale sharks and how to best look at them from a distance, how to, I guess, tell them apart, because whenever I go to the aquarium, I will not want to know what their names are and whatnot. And I'm just so excited. Also, something I learned, okay, some like weird fact. So whale sharks don't like scuba divers to be swimming underneath them. And it's possibly thought to be because whenever you scuba dive, the bubbles that come out of when you exhale, it is thought that that tickles the belly of the whale shark. So that's the reason why they don't like people swimming underneath them. So whenever I go to the aquarium, I will be as cautious as I can. If I swim underneath them, that I will try to not breathe so hard and tickle their bellies. Oh. But yeah, I think that's all I have about whale sharks. They're very, very interesting creatures, and like I said, they are my favorite undersea organism, right next to probably the giant undersea isopods. But yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for watching again, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be making probably the next video will probably be either, it might be a video on scuba diving, because like I said, since I'll be going to the aquarium scuba diving there with the whale sharks, I want to get caught up on like stuff, because I only scuba dive basically once a year. So I want to get caught back up with the scuba diving knowledge and stuff like that. I also wanted to get used to whale sharks and whatnot, look at them and stuff. So probably a scuba diving video next. So look forward to that. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on our next educational video. So bye.